All right, what's up, everyone? It's your boy, Coach Paul, live and direct from another episode of Becoming a Better You podcast. And today, I am honored to share with you such an amazing human being. I met her at the Build Your Brand Live event last year, the one I caught COVID at. And I just lost her. And she is an amazing human being, and she is going to be on the event we have coming up. If you see me posting about the event, we got a live event coming up February 17th. And so I'm going to introduce you guys to this amazing human being. Her name is Caley. We're going to bring her on stage right now.
Hello.
What's up, Caley?
What's up? I love your
How
energy.
are you?
How are
So grateful to have you.
I'm so glad to be here. You really just have the most contagious energy. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and it's funny because this is real energy. I mean, whether you see me on a call on my social media or you see me in person, I'm really just turned up.
That's how I feel. I don't do caffeine. I don't know if you do. No judgment if you do, but this is all natural.
I do that too.
Too much caffeine makes me crazy. You don't want to see me with too much caffeine.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, so this podcast is Becoming a Better You, and it's all about just how we're taking steps as human beings in general to become better human beings. And so I love bringing other individuals that are on a mission to become better, but also help others become better onto the show. And I've met you and had a few conversations with you. You're speaking at our event next month, so I'm super excited. You're going to speak, you're going to sing, play some music. First off, tell the audience what it is you do. Tell them what you're about, and just talk about yourself for a moment.
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Caley Rose. I'm proud to say that I am a Billboard-Charting singer and songwriter. I am also
the proud. Can you say that again? Hold on. Say that again.
I am a Billboard-Charting singer and songwriter.
Billboard-Charting singers. Let's give her a round of applause. When you're watching this on the screen right now, give her a round of applause. That's amazing.
You're so kind. Thank you. Yes, I'm very proud to say that. And I'm also the proud creator of Music with a Message. And Music with a Message is a program that I started about 2 years ago now. And it is a school assembly program that teaches students how to build their self-confidence and also helps prevent bullying. So I bring in my empowering music, I perform for them, we talk about how I was bullied as a kid and what steps they can take to build their confidence up so that if they ever get bullied, they won't listen to what the bully says. They won't believe it. Or if they were bullied, like I was, how to learn to build up your own self-esteem after that awful event.
I love that. And anyone watching this in the audience, I want you to understand she works in schools. I know I have some of my clients I'm already talking to for you that are clients. They work in schools. They're teachers. They're administrators. One lady is a mental health counselor at a couple schools here in the Bay Area, and so I'm already talking to them about you, trying to get you into their schools. I've spoken at a few schools, so I have a few administrators at those schools as well. I'm talking to, trying to create that connection. But anyone watching this on the live stream or listening to this podcast later on, if you work in the school industry, let's get Caley in your school so we can help those kids, especially the days where so many people are bullied. That is an amazing thing that you're doing.
Thank you, friend. Thank you. Yeah. So if you want me to come to your school, my website, I don't know if we have links. We'll put links somewhere. CaleyRose.com. CALEY. Roses in the flower. CALEY. Roses in the flower. I like to put the rhythm to it so people remember it.
I love it. Look, y'all didn't even know she was going to come on here and sing for us today. Look at that.
My non-rapping rapping.
So as I said, the podcast is about becoming a better you. And so, you kind of just talked about what you're doing to help other people become better. What are you doing, or what has led you to become the amazing human being that you are today, and what you have done and are doing to become a better you?
Thank you. Well, it's funny that we're having this conversation in the new year, right? Because it's the 2nd of January. And I already had a test for my lesson of the year. But I usually pick a theme of the year or a dominating word. Do you do that too?
I do. I love it. No, this is a great conversation already. I'm already knowing. Yes.
I love it. Okay. So mine for the year is faith and trust. And the reason I met you last year is because it was vibrate high / up level. So I was trying to raise my vibration and up level everything in my life. And that's why we ended up in the same awesome networking, empowering group that we're in. What is your word for the year?
I love it. So that's great. So my word for last year was growth. Right.
Nice. And
so my word for last year was growth. So the whole year was just focusing on mental, emotional, financial, physical growth, like just pushing myself in all areas of my life to grow. And I grew a lot last year. I faced a lot of challenges, and I just grew a lot as a human being, as a business owner, as a coach, as a boyfriend, as a father figure, you know? And so my word for this year is impact.
Nice.
My word is impact, right?
I got a feeling when you said that.
Huh?
I got a feeling when you said that. I was just like, that is right on line with you this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I have this grand scheme. I want to impact hundreds of thousands of lives, and I'm doing that through multiple facets, multiple platforms. This podcast, me going live, the speaking event that you're coming and speaking at on next month. Like, all of these are ways that we're impacting the world. And, you know, I spent so much time last year growing and becoming a better human being, a better me. Yeah. Now I want to create more impact with all the information, all the skill sets I acquire. Now I want to create more impact. And, you know, so this year I'm just focusing on impact, you know, impacting as many lives as I possibly can.
Have you ever read, there's this book I just finished that I was obsessed with, Maximum Impact Potential?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
This will add up reading. Speaking of books, this is what I'm reading right now.
What is it?
Limitless by Jim Quick.
I don't know this. Okay. Add it to my
Limitless
list.
by Jim Quick. This was
good stuff.
And then what was that book you just said? I'm writing that one down.
Maximum Impact Potential.
Maximum Impact Potential. If you're watching this on the live stream, or you're listening to this podcast episode, or you're watching this on a replay, write that down. Maximum Impact Potential.
Of course, I can't remember the author's name.
That's okay. I'm sure I can type it into Google and they'll tell me what it is. Right? Google, you gotta love Google these days. This is gonna give you all the information you need. Yeah. So Maximum Impact Potential. Write that down. That's gonna be the next book you should be reading.
It changed it. Like I think it was a very big surprise to me last year that I didn't realize how much of a scarcity mindset I had. Okay. But investing in the mastermind that we're both in was the first step to like unlocking it. And now it makes me laugh. Okay. So 6 years ago, I wasn't a songwriter. I wasn't singing all the time. I was a voiceover actor who kept being like, yeah, I'm a singer, but how do I get there? And then I was always letting other people take the wheel when it came to songwriting. And then I found out about the songwriting school, and it was $600 for a songwriting class, which now that I've invested so much more in my business and myself, I'm just like, are you kidding me that was scary to you to invest? But I've always had this scarcity mindset, and I had the money. It was there in my savings. You know, I was very fortunate, but I, for a long time, came at my life with a starving artist mindset, and it was a hard mentality to break. And so I invested the $600. And then once I learned songwriting, it was like the path became illuminated and clear in front of me. All of these serendipities came into my life, all of these scholarships to writing retreats. It was incredible. But the reason I say that is because sometimes I think like whatever you believe in, universe or God or whatever, will give you these challenges and put it in the language that challenges you the most. And for me, it's making an investment in that way. And it scared me $600 back then. It scared me with my investment this year. But then the growth that I experienced, the high vibrations of 2023 was astounding, you know? And so I'm so glad it, you know, allowed us to meet each other. Because when I first met you, I was like, this guy is just so, like, you jump in so head first. It's so beautiful. It's great.
Absolutely. And I love that you talked about investing, right? So many people don't. I believe there's 3 fundamental forms of investing. Time, energy, and money. Time, energy, and money. If you invest those 3 things in any area of your life, time, energy, money, money, you invest those 3 things, you cannot, you can't fail. You just can't fail because you've invested so much into it, you know? And I think there's a lot of people that don't understand, like when they think of investing, right? So I think the greatest thing about the type of investment that we're talking about here, it's not a financial investment where there's a potential for loss. You can't lose when you invest in yourself, right?
That's a very good point. Yes.
Yeah, there's no losing. Like
unless you don't trust yourself, right? Because a lot of people don't trust themselves, so they do think that they might have something to lose, and so then it's terrifying to invest in themselves. But I knew if I made this monetary investment, I was going all in. I was always going to be the one raising my hand, you know. So the first step, I really think, before even investing in yourself is trusting yourself and your ability. But if you have past that might tell you, oh, I'm not trustworthy in this way, or I might make this mistake again, you're a new you every single day, you know? A lot of us think of ourselves as that person 10 years ago or 5 years ago, or God forbid 30 years ago, but we've advanced. We've learned so much more every single day, and we've proven to ourselves that we're different.
Absolutely. And there's so many other people, like so many people don't see that. And then that's why I love what I do, right? That's why the word is impact, right?
So you're good at it.
Yeah. To impact people, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
And that's great. And when you told me the name of your event, Building a Better You, I was just like, that is so, wherever you got that from, it's so aligned. Oh, Natalie is saying, was watching on Paul's side, had to jump over. I love this, loving this conversation. Thank you guys. Anna and Natalie, thank you. We want to hear comments. We want to hear from you guys. Definitely get it. It's so difficult to make that mindset change. Yeah, because it's habits, right? And habits are the hardest thing to break. When you move the coffee maker, I don't even drink coffee, but when you move something across the room, you constantly go to that place, and our thoughts are the same way. We're constantly going back to that place where we were 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago, but we don't have to be,
And that's why it's important. Like, I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits yet.
No, I need to. Okay.
That's your list. Anyone
Atomic Habits?
Atomic Habits, add that to your list. That is a game changer. And it goes back to what you were just talking about when it comes to habits, right? And
oh my God, it's on my list. Okay.
There's a couple important factors in Atomic Habits that I want to just kind of tap into real quick and kind of share with you and share with the audience. One of the things is that you should take your bad habits and make them harder to get to, and your easy habits easier to get to.
Woo! Okay, right? Let's dive into that.
You do that, right? So I do this with my clients all the time. You cannot eat a donut if it's not in your house.
No.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna use myself as an example because I'm a human being too, right? So there was a moment when I was grinding for my business and I was working really hard and I was drinking a lot of energy drinks, right? I was getting up at 4 in the morning. I wasn't even getting home till 10 o'clock at night. I was grinding hard, right? I was living in my gym, damn near. And so I was drinking a lot of energy drinks. And I found when I went to this specific 7-Eleven to buy an energy drink, there's a donut shop next to it. I found myself going into the donut shop. So when I stopped going to that 7-Eleven, I stopped getting the donuts.
Dogs. Yeah. Every time I went to this one voiceover studio, I would always get the peanut M&Ms. I'm not even that big into peanut M's, but I was like, once I get there in Santa Monica, I'm going to walk in that door and I'm going to get them from the jar,
Yeah.
And so don't have them in your house. Make them more inaccessible to you. I'm trying to think my bad habit is scarcity mindset. So how do I have that more inaccessible to me?
I'm going to show you a trick, right? Is it when you say scarcity, you're talking about financial scarcity?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to show you this. What I have pinned on
my
my wall.
Look at this. Freaking live.
I have money pinned on my wall.
Okay.
Right? I have money pinned on my wall, right?
Yeah.
I can take $100 bill and just pin it on my wall in my office. I don't really need that $100 bill, right? This takes away the scarcity mindset, right?
Yeah.
Money's not that scarce. There's $100 right there. I'm not doing that bad, right? It's easy to think I'm struggling, but I'm not, right?
No,
but even better, someone gave me this at the Build Your Brand Live, and it's $1 million bill. Right? $1 million bill. We know it's not a real $1 million bill.
Yeah, but it feels nice.
I tell everyone all the time, I will be a millionaire one day.
Yeah.
That's our goal. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to be a millionaire, right? I came from poverty stricken, growing up in the hood, with nothing. I was homeless multiple times in my life, right? I will be a millionaire one day. Someone said, let me see. There's the millionaire right there. $1 million, right? And then there's a real $100 bill right there.
Yeah.
So I have one of these pinned up on my wall. Where are we at? Right here. Pinned up on my wall, right? So that gets rid of the scarcity mindset because I see it.
Yeah.
I see money. There's money right there. Yeah. I'm not doing that bad, right?
Yeah.
And so that's my constant reminder right there. So there's a little technique. I actually did a money mindset course one time, and that's what they talked about. They said the easiest way to feel comfortable with money is to play with money. Go get a bunch of cash, stack it up around your house. Once upon a time when I had my own spot, I had $100 bills in my room, in my office, in my kitchen, just everywhere. So I constantly see all this money everywhere. And I wasn't afraid of money no more.
It's all over. I have a thing with $2. I don't know what it is, but one time my husband tipped $2 more than I theoretically would have tipped. And I was just like, why would you tip that much? We went up to a counter. We didn't have a sit down. And then I realized how insane I was being, and that was my scarcity mindset. It was hold on to that $2. You might need it. Oh my God, it's $2. If my life comes down to $2 difference, I'm going to be very surprised and in a very bad place, you know? So now I'm like, okay, I'm always going to do $2 extra, and I'm just trying to let it go, you know?
Absolutely.
Didn't know you were getting Elsa on this podcast today.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of value on this podcast. That's the great thing about like these podcasts, and this is part of like my goal with this podcast is to bring on other people that are striving towards betterment. Because I'm a firm believer that the more people in my circle that are driving towards become better human beings, right? And the more conversations I can have, A, I'm learning stuff. B, we're bringing value to the world. And C, this is a great way to spend a Tuesday afternoon.
It's really wonderful. How did you become the confident, self-affirming person that you are today? Like, was there a shift for you where you're just like, I'm going to become a better me?
Oh, I love that question. You know, it's been an ongoing mission, right? It's been an ongoing mission, but I think there's two major shifts. There's two major shifts for me, right? And I talk about this quite often. There was a moment, so, you know, anyone in the audience that doesn't already know this, they haven't clearly followed me for very long because I talk about it all the time. But I grew up in a very bad neighborhood. And I was, you know, by the time I was 15, I was hooked on drugs. By the time I was 15, I was homeless for the first time, in and out of juvenile hall, boys' homes, mental hospitals, even. Like, they had the best teenage years growing up, best childhood. By the time I was an adult, I was going in and out of jail and prison, and I ended up doing 10 years in prison, right? And during that 10 years in prison, I had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of roller coasters, you know, lost some very important people in my life. My stepdad and my mom passed away while I was in there. And so what happened was I had a moment of clarity in August of 2017. So August of 2017, I was supposed to get out, but because I had allowed pain, my internal pain, to be external, because I'd allowed my drug addiction and my anger to control me, I'd actually extended my stay for an extra year and a half. Right. So I was supposed to get out August 1st, and I wasn't going anywhere because of my behavior while I was in there. And so for the month of August in 2017, I was in a very deep, dark place where I pretty much wanted to die. Right. I was putting myself in dangerous situations within the prison that I was in, where I was basically to a point. Oh, Fernando is on right now. Fernando, stay here because I'm talking about you, bro. My friend Fernando just hopped on right now. Fernando, don't go anywhere because I'm talking about you right now, bro. So, right, and I was doing all kinds of drugs, and I was putting myself in compromising situations in prison to where, like, I wanted someone to kill me, honestly, right? And I made a decision. I woke up one morning, the end of August 2017. I woke up and I saw myself in the mirror. My cheeks were sunken in. I had black rings around my eyes. I was just like, oh, man. And this was that first moment where I was like, I'm done. I never want to live like this again, right? And I walked up to Fernando. Love you, Fernando. I see he's right here on my live. It's crazy that he just popped in when I'm talking about this story.
Freaking meant to be.
I walk up to Fernando, and like it's not like me and Fernando were like best friends or anything, right? Like, we didn't honestly see eye to eye because I was living a different lifestyle than he was. He was on a positive, productive path. And to be honest, like, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I realize now that I was jealous of him, right? Because he was going to school, he was going to church, he was going to class, like, he was going to get out of prison and not come back, and I was destined to either die in prison or die in the streets, right? And I walked up to Fernando, and I was like, bro, I need some help. And he said, I got you, right? And he gave me some help, and he took me with him, and I latched on to Fernando, and I went to all these positive things that he was doing, and it completely changed my life. You know, and that was over 6 years ago. And I ended up getting, you know, because of my positive behavior after that last year in prison, I started working on myself really hard, right? And so that helped develop that confidence that you and I were just talking about, right? Yeah. But then it wasn't again until I hired my first business coach that the true confidence came out. Because during that time with Fernando, I was like building confidence because I was making healthier choices, and I was building confidence in myself, right? Like every day I did drugs. Every day I didn't get in a fight. Every day I didn't get in trouble in the prison was another day. I was like, wow, I can actually be successful. I can actually, and then when I got out, I kept that momentum going, and I found success, and I did all these small things that are small to most people, like getting a driver's license. Like, I never really had a driver's license, or, you know, getting a real job, like a legit job where I'm getting paid, not under the table, not I'm stealing from the place, like a legit job. Like, you know, these small things that a lot of people take for granted were huge to me after doing 10 years in prison. You know,
you're incredible.
And so ended up happening was I started my business during the pandemic and I hired a coach. You and I were talking about investing, right? And I'm a firm believer in to invest in yourself and time,
Yeah.
energy, and money. That's always going to ensure success, right?
Yeah.
And actually, when the pandemic happened, I lost my job at Orange Theory Fitness. The gyms closed down. I couldn't work, right? And so I had been talking to this business coach, and his program was $3,000, and I had $3,500 in the bank, right?
Ooh.
So $3,500 in the bank. My rent was $500, right? Because I was living with my aunt, and his program was paid in full for 12 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
And I paid it. I emptied my bank account, right?
Oh my goodness.
And I said, I'm going to make it happen, right? And that right there leveled up my confidence because I knew I had no choice. I had to make this work, or I was going to be sleeping on the streets, or I was going to be hungry.
Oh
There's no other option.
Yeah, survival.
Yeah,
that'll motivate you. Holy mama! And then you shifted. You made it happen. That's you honoring your commitments to yourself, taking action, leaning in that way, and continuing to do so.
Yeah,
they are incredible.
And now I get to hang out with cool people like you.
I really am like Coach Paul. Like anything that man sets his mind to, you will accomplish. You know, you see it in people, and it's so beautiful to see. And I'm so excited for you. And look at all the things, you know, framed behind you. You know, you deserve it.
That's just a few of them. I've been busy.
Yeah, it's been, what did you say, a couple years? I mean, look at the growth you've had.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out for a little over 5 years, but I have I've been in business for about 3.5 years now.
Holy mama. There are people that can't, you know, do that in 20 years or just choose not to, I would say. It's not about can't, you know? That's like when I hate when people say like, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm like, well, we all have time. I didn't choose to make time for that today. I maybe put other things first, you know, but we all have time. I hate that expression.
Absolutely. It's
the
biggest thing is time. Everyone doesn't have time or doesn't have money, but I think that's BS, right? I mean, I had $3,500 and spent $3,000 of it investing into myself. We all have the money. Everyone has a credit card, right? You want to go get a new car, new clothes, all these jewelry, this and that. You have the money for that. But when it comes to investing in your health, investing in your future, investing in yourself, personal development, growth, things like that, we don't have the money.
And like you said at the beginning, what better thing to invest in than yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Do you think that you're going to step up and make this happen? And like, is this experience right for you? Maybe it's not, you know what I mean? Because I feel like we're also in a culture of sales, right? We might go buy a new truck soon this week, and somebody might, you know, really be trying to tell us that this is the truck for us. This is the truck for us. And people can be really convincing. So I also think there's value in, you know, leaning out and listening to yourself and saying, is this experience for me? Do I want to invest in this experience? That is very valuable because our own voices are the ones we should be listening to more than others most of the time. You know, I think we know the answers.
Sometimes I think a lot. I also think we live in a society where a lot of people's voices bring them down.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll just use like my experience. Going through everything that I've been through, you know, like I know a lot of people that have been incarcerated that'll probably never change their ways because I've been to prison, I can't get a job, or I'm a drug addict, I can't get a job, or I can't start a business, or these things that they tell themselves they can't do because of their past experiences. But here I am doing all these things because of my past experiences, right? A lot of it is just that mindset shift. Like, only reason I'm as successful as I am is because I've been through so much, right? Whereas so many people that have gone through similar or not like their own situations will say, I can't be successful because I've been through so much, right? Sometimes it's just that little mindset, right? That mindset shift that can completely change the way we look at things.
Absolutely. And it's like we said, changing those habits. Hi, Alyssa. Alyssa's watching us on Instagram. I'm here with Coach Paul. Mindset shifts and breaking those mental habits. You know, you could have gone on saying, no, I'm always going to be here. I want to always be here. I'm going to accept this fate. You know, so we do have ownership and we do have control to some extent. I'm trying to figure out, like, my word for the year is faith and trust. And I'm very like action oriented and I can do it all. But then there's a little bit of that taking your hands off the wheel and letting whatever you believe in come in. And I think this is the area I'm learning this year.
I think for me, so I've struggled with that before. And I think for me, what I found, so my belief system, I have a spiritual based belief system.
Yeah.
I don't believe specifically in like a God or a Jesus
Mhm.
Christ. I don't judge those who do. Like whatever gets you up
Yeah.
in the morning, cool, right?
Yep.
But what I do know is that like for me, my spiritual belief system is the conversations I have, the prayers I do daily are with my mom. Right. She passed away 5 years into my prison sentence. Right. So it was 10 years ago she passed away. And I have conversations with her every morning, every night, and all moments throughout the day. Good moments and bad moments, right? When things are going good, I'm like, thanks, Mom. I see that message you just sent me. Or like, man, Mom, I'm so grateful for this, right? And there's other moments when things are hard, like, Mom, just get me through this. Just help me get me through this, right? And what I found is that like there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance. So I have a lot of, I know some really high level entrepreneurs that are really faith-based. My boy Garrett G3, like this dude's a multimillionaire, you know, has a compound in the hills. Son's of his little like 7-year-old son's a boxer, MMA fighter. Like my dude's got his life in order and he's doing some amazing things. He's a very religious person. He believes in faith. He has a strong faith. And you know what? Like, you know, he talks about faith all the time, right? But he also does the work, right?
Yeah.
We live in a society where too many people say, I'm going to do tons of work, but they have no faith in something to get them through the hard times. And another action level of society where it's like, I have faith in my higher power, my God, whoever, so I don't have to do much because God will get me through it.
No, yeah, that's a dangerous place. Yeah. And it's like people with the law of attraction, right? Like, yeah, people with the law of attraction, like, will think, okay, I can just sit there and visualize. Well, there's the part where you must then take action, you know? Like, it was very helpful for me when I was moving from musical theater to pop music to realize, like, oh, I actually don't see myself in Broadway. I see myself in a recording studio, and that's pop music. And so, but then I had to send out my demo to a bunch of people and take, you know, these little baby steps and those big leaps to get me there. So I think the visualizing is very helpful, the praying and, you know, whatever you need to do to communicate with that. It's so funny because like, I think we're so conditioned to not talk about religion, not talk about politics, you know, that I mention faith and trust. And I'm like, that's obviously going to follow a conversation about that higher stuff that we believe in. And this is going to be my whole year, like talking about these things. And this is, you know, day 2. But it's funny because I like tiptoed around it a little bit, you know, I was like, whatever you believe in, it's fine. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's go there. That's beautiful. And I love that you talked to your mom. That's awesome. I used to feel my grandfather very strongly after he passed away, and I haven't felt him as much. It almost felt like he moved further away, but maybe I just wasn't listening, you know? So that inspires me to bring him back into the fold in that way. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. And you know what? Like, I want to tap into what you're talking about with the law of attraction, right? Because I do believe in the law of attraction, and I also believe in putting in the work so that you attract what you want to attract, but also so that you're in the position to attract that, right? So like I put out these positive vibes and this idea of growth and betterment and everything I do, but if I just sit at home and talk on my phone about betterment, about growth, or things like that, I don't actually attract people that are on that mission. If I fly to Dallas or fly, you and I were just in Orlando a couple weeks ago. You know, like if I'm flying across the country, right, to go be around people that are on a positive tip, that are working on their business, working on their lives, growing as human beings, then the actions I'm taking are putting me in a room with people I can attract, right? And then the right people like yourself, we get attracted to each other. We have a conversation. We're like, damn, this is an awesome human being. I want to know more about her. Like, I want to know more about this music with a message. Like, that's an interesting topic. Like, wow, you know, like we can help. Like, helping the youth is very important to me, and the way you do it is in a different way. It's not the same. Like, it's not the same way that so many people do it. It's not the way that like I grew up. Like the idea of helping the youth was like a police officer coming into the school and saying drugs are bad. You know, like,
it's true. We have an interloper. Hi, babe. Hi. You're good.
Sorry, just came to grab some cheese.
It's live, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be off in 10 if you want to wait. See, we're really going to look for this truck. I know. Go do it.
Get your truck, man. I love it.
I love that live.
Yeah, absolutely.
My mom was looking in the window 2 minutes ago. She's watching my daughter, and I was just like, go away.
I was just telling my girlfriend, she's like, I'm gonna have to leave to take my parents somewhere in a little bit, and the kids are home from school. I was like, that's cool. I'm gonna be down here on a podcast episode. They fly up their phone on their tablets, but if they need me, come get me. Like, if there's an emergency, you need me, I got you. You know, like what's gonna happen? You're gonna be like, oh no, you can't help your kids. Like, I don't have a conversation with someone like that anyways.
I get so perfectionist about things. Like when I started going live on TikTok right before we jumped on, because I've told myself 10 minutes a day on TikTok, I'm doing 10 minutes on Instagram, and I love doing it. It just feels too fun, which is the whole thing we can jump into. But I was like, oh man, like my keyboard isn't set up because I like always do it right here. And I'm like, the flowers aren't behind me. And I was just like, oh my God, girl, just press the button live. Just press it. Because I get so perfectionist. Like it has to be this way. You know, we could have done this podcast from the car. That's the good thing about all of this, you know? So don't let the perfectionism get in your way when you're building that new you, because it's really just fear telling you it has to be this, and it's, you know, inflexibility, and flexibility is going to get you to where you want to go too.
Yeah. And you know what I found is that people like authenticity. You know,
Yeah.
the more I'm just like, I don't want to hang out with you if you don't like who I truly am anyway.
Yeah.
So like, why I'm gonna sit here and fake like I'm this like perfect person? Like, you know what videos really hit hard when I do like a lot of my content is when I make like these cooking videos. And
Yeah. I did like your cooking.
Yeah, like I'm not a good cook, but I'm like, hey, this is what we're making. Like I made a low carb, low calorie pizza the other day, and like I grabbed the cheese, and cheese flew everywhere, and I was like, cool, leave it in the video, right? Like that's life. Things like that happen.
That's life. Where are the cooking videos for like, listen, I'm not a good cook, but I need to eat. So here's what I'm making tonight, you know?
I literally do that on some of my videos. Like if you watch some of my older videos, I'm gonna start repurposing some of those videos because people really like them. But I'm basically like, what's up? It's your boy Coach Paul. I don't know how to cook, but I know how to eat, and I'm gonna show you what I'm cooking. And I'm literally like microwaving things in the microwave. Like you're a busy parent, you don't have time to meal prep for 6 hours. Cool. Here's a meal prep that takes 20 minutes. Let's go. You know?
That's fantastic. That's what you need.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about the upcoming event. You know, Caley is going to be one of the speakers. She's going to speak and play some music at our upcoming event, February 17th from 10 to 12:30 p.m. 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., not 10 p.m., right? Nope. 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. in Castro Valley. This is our live speaking event. We got some great speakers coming out. So, Caley, just kind of tell everyone a little bit what you got going on.
I will. Also, Natalie just said, let me know. I need that cooking show too.
Yeah, let's do it.
There is a demand for this insanity. I'll sing and cook later on live. That'll be really fun. So yeah, I bring empowering music to events, and I also share my own story about how I got to finally live my dream, because for a long time I was limiting myself for a million different excuses, and how I finally broke through those barriers. And it was a couple different leaps in my life, as I talk about. One time I jumped off a cliff in New Zealand. Another time I was working at Starbucks. I was an Ivy League educated girl that was working at Starbucks and miserable out of her mind. But honestly, quitting Starbucks was the scariest thing I had ever done. Because you can be in a really safe situation that's terrible, and you can stay in that for, you know, that's why people stay in abusive relationships, because they don't know that there's better. We convince ourselves that there isn't anything better because we don't know it. You know, when I was hoping and dreaming for my husband, I didn't think there was real true love out there. I was like, well, what if I'm wrong? Let's just stay safe. I got a bird in the hand right now. I'm going to stay safe. But I am here to tell you that it is possible. And so many people think they can't love their work. That is also not true. That's just a limiting belief, because there are people out there that are in love. There are people out there that are making tons of money. There are people out there that are living their dreams as creative professionals, as whatever you want to be. Someone is doing it. So why not you? So that was a lot. I got past it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. So February 17th, Castro Valley. She's literally coming. Where do you live? North Carolina?
No. So I'm touring in our Airstream. So we're going to come across the country to come to San Francisco.
She's coming across the country to come speak. Let's just like think about that for a moment. You know, like she's going to come across the country, traveling with her husband, and she's going to come bring some value to everyone that's going to be at this event. Super excited about that.
Me too.
Hopefully you'll get me to come speak at one of your events in the future too.
I need to start putting out events. I love that. Thank you for believing that I can. See?
Yeah, you should.
A little belief.
You know, I think we learned about it at Build Your Brand Live, the vertical integration. You remember that conversation with Jeff Finster?
Oh, I wasn't at Build Your Brand Live.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was performing at schools. I couldn't go. Yeah, you and I met right after.
Got it.
Tell me, please.
Yeah, let's talk about it real quick. If there's anyone on here right now that's working on building businesses, let's talk about something called vertical integration, right? And basically what that means is you build businesses that support your other businesses, right? So For example, if you're a speaker, like for me, this is what I'm looking at doing. I already have a motivational speaking business. So now I want to start an event planning business, right? So I'm going to start an event planning business, and my event planning business is actually one of the goals for this year is to start this event planning business. And eventually that grows. And what happens is I'm already planning my own events, right? Yeah. So now I plan my own event as the event planning business. And then I pay myself from that business as a speaker, or I hire the event planner to plan. And then you're basically paying yourself through your own business. Right. And then you create, and then eventually you build a team that does it for you. Right. And now you have a sustainable program structure that supports your main goal.
Yeah, that's genius. Yeah, it's so interesting. And like, we've been hanging out with so many people who, I mean, everybody has a team and everyone has a VA. When you start to hang out with people who are, you know, you might see yourself and your business is here, and then you start to learn from people who are here, you learn so much. And so now I have a team and I have a VA, and it's fantastic. So that's why I like to say, if you see someone, like you said, that you feel jealous of, move toward that, because that is the direction that you're meant to go in. Jealousy. I'm not jealous of baseball players. Not at all. No interest, you know, but there are some people who are, and they should move toward that and, you know, get themselves to the place that they want to be, so they'll be happier people.
Absolutely. I mean, surrounding yourself with people that are doing things bigger and better than you is going to help you level up in all areas. And that's why, like, paying for a mastermind, you know, paying to be in a mastermind or paying to be in a coaching program or a mentorship program surrounds you like with people that are not yet at your level, but also people that are way higher than you. You know, like, I'm in this online fitness coaching mentorship, and we have a group chat, and there's people in there that are making $60,000 to $80,000 a month.
Wow.
Online fitness coaching. And I'm like, wow, like that's crazy, right? Like my highest month this year, I think, was like close to 30K, right?
Yeah.
We almost made 30K in 1 month this year, or last year, 2023. But like, wow, like 60 to 80K people are making like consistently every month. Right? Helping others too. Like, that's great. That's amazing. You know, and it's like when I consider to have conversation with people like that are doing things like that. Or, for example, I'm going to use our common mentor, Jen, as an example. Right? So, like, we all see what Jen's doing. I want to do what Jen's doing. Right? Yeah. That's where my purpose is. Like, when I'm on stage talking in front of people with a microphone, and there's people looking up at me, and I'm sharing my story, I'm just giving my authentic self. Like, I feel alive at those moments. Like, that's when I feel alive. In you. Yeah. Right? And so, like, I told Jen, I even told her, like, at Build Your Brand, actually, I told her, I said, you know, hey, I'm gonna speak on your stage one day. She's like, let's make it happen. Then make it happen. You know, like, you know, like, I'm coming for that. You know, take
that as so many different. Like, if you see someone that makes you jealous like that, you could turn around and get down on yourself. You know, but you have that healthier mindset, and you're choosing to use it as fuel, and that's an asset, and it's a choice. Every day we make a choice. Casey Joe just said you're creating jobs for people too. Yeah, I mean, it was such a realization when I was like, holy mama, I want these 2 working mamas that are working for me. I want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, so then they can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know? And then we build that team and we create community. And like that book I talked about, Maximum Impact Potential, we get to put it back into the world wherever we think it's necessarily due. In a good cause. Yeah, let's do this.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think that we've had a very good conversation. I think my girlfriend just left, so I'm probably gonna have to go check on these kids right now. Right?
Thank you for having me. It was fun. I always love spending time with you.
Absolutely. So, like all of this was already live streamed, and then I'm going to drop this podcast. And look, everyone, when you listen to this podcast, all of her information will be in the podcast. That way, you know where to find her. And give everyone your Instagram handle, your Facebook, whatever you want to give right now.
You can find me everywhere. CALEY, Roses in the Flower. CALEY, Roses in the Flower, except for TikTok, where I'm Caley Rose Music, because Caley Rose was already taken. But my music's on Spotify, my music's on Apple Music, all the music streaming platforms. There's something for everyone. There's high energy pop music, there's singer-songwriter love songs, and music with a message goes into schools, women's shelters, all kinds of events. So let me know. I'd love to perform for you.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
So great to have you.
Check out our event in February. We will be lit.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Another amazing episode of Becoming a Better You is in the books. I hope that you all enjoyed today's podcast. I hope that you go follow her and show her the love that you showed me already. We're on a mission to impact hundreds of thousands of lives, and we're looking to impact more people's lives. Make sure to download this podcast, share this podcast, and help more people become a better you. Talk to you again soon. Peace. All right.